and I can't right now, so that's fun. The other modification is I don't know how to make like the traditional one. So this is going to be, I've got 2 Wagyu strip steaks. They're Walmart Wagyu. It's not like, you know, this wasn't like a, they look roughly like prime beef, so that's why I bought them. But they're not, there's not A5 Wagyu or anything special. It's just, I mean, it's just a regular strip steak with pretty good marbling. But, I mean, again, nothing special here. I'm going to cook these 2 steaks, and then I'm going to use that pan, and I'm going to cook some ground Wagyu, right? The ground Wagyu I will then use to make a pan gravy, basically, with a bunch of mushrooms, some onion, some garlic, and beef, and then it's cream and flour and butter. I mean, there's not much to it, but it's really good when you have it, especially if you like the mushroomy flavor and the beefiness of it. And I've got these Amish Kitchen extra wide egg noodles, because extra wide egg noodles are really good for this type of dish, but you don't have to use them. You can use like the regular Italian style pastas, the wheat pastas or whatever. Wheat flour. You don't have to use egg noodles. Egg noodles are just good. So then I'm going to take the steaks at the end, and I'm going to slice them really like thin and lay that over the top of the beef for whoever wants it. But most of the dish is actually going to be the ground beef and the mushrooms and the onions and the sauce. So that's it. You really don't need a ton for this. You need however many noodles that you want. I'm going to make the pan sauce I'm going to make is going to be 3 cups. It'll be 3 cups of cream, which means you need 3 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of flour. You should get all this stuff ready beforehand so you can be French and say mise en place, which basically means I'm gay. No, it means a place for everything. So getting this stuff all ready to go, because once you get going, especially once you get the once you get the beef cooking and you get your onions and mushrooms started, you don't want those to burn. And when you start making your pan sauce, which once you get the onions and mushrooms started to saute or simmer down, I guess, whatever you want, cook down, lose the water. Once that happens, you're going to add in the flour right in the pan and the butter, and you're just going to go to town on it. And once that goes, like you can't stop stirring. It's like a roux. You'll burn it. And you don't want to burn your flour in a pan full of beef, onions, and mushrooms. You can do that when you're starting a roux and you haven't already made a bunch of stuff in there. But you can't like throw out a roux that's got all your food in it. So you have to be paying attention. You have to be on the ball with it. So get everything ready before you start. You'll regret it if you don't. I won't regret it. I'm not in your house yet. But it's most of this is going to be a wooden spoon situation. I've got some salt for these steaks. I'm going to get the steaks going while I prep the vegetables. It's not really a vegetable, is it? It's a spore. Fungus. Onions, I guess, are a vegetable. Those are just dirty roots. This dish is disgusting. I got this electric pepper mill. Makes me feel lazy, but it works really well. Anyway, let's lock this thing. This is supporters only. If you're not a supporter, you can go ahead and please become one. That would be great. Would love to bring you guys back. Those who maybe have left or whatever. I understand why. I hold no malice. I mean, I do, but not towards you guys. And I would love for you guys to want to come back to the locals community. And so I'm starting back with exclusive content. And it's only here. I'm not streaming on Locals and Rumble and YouTube yet. Although I may tomorrow night for the election. The election is happening. I don't know if you guys know. But I don't know if I can watch an election sober because, oh my God, how horrible is that already? What is the fat boy lawyer on X's problem with me? I don't know. Look, some private details about my life were made public. A bunch of people always complain to me about keeping things private. When I tried to make some things private, some guy just went out and, decided to make them public, although he didn't do it fully truthfully, which is great. I haven't been able to talk about a bunch of it. And so I'm just kind of sitting here holding myself in fury and frustration because, man, I'm a person who likes to talk, so I don't want to not talk about me, my favorite subject. But that's the cards I've been dealt right now. What I can't figure out is how any of this stuff affects almost anybody, because the people that it affects are the people that are around me very, specifically and frequently. Everybody else is watching a show. And I don't begrudge people for watching a show, but calm down. Like, I didn't do anything to you. You weren't invited to that party. You wouldn't have wanted to anyway. So it's a mystery to me as to why everyone is so offended. Not everyone, but you know what I mean. Because it had nothing to do with them. And I still don't know how they're mad about it. Oh, and if you want to say a dumb thing, like I gave my kid cocaine, I didn't. Nobody did. It's not a thing. I don't know if you know this, but it's not good for children to have that. So there would be some health effects. There would be some problems. There's nothing like that at all. It's not real. And I can't really get into it right now because of the nature of streaming, but trust me, there's a way to know that your child has not consumed drugs. Right? There's a really easy way to know that your child hasn't consumed drugs. So if you think that happened, I don't know what to tell you anymore. There's nothing left for you. What was I getting? Butter. And I really hate to be frank about all this stuff, but I'm really tired of it too. You're really like, oh, you did this. I didn't. Nobody did. That's insane. Timothy says, Nick, can I have your OnlyFans address? No, you have to decode the metadata in my latest Instagram post to do it, to get there. That's how you win at OnlyFans, is you do it in secret. Okay, so I'm going to cook this beef this is beef tallow, which is beef fat. It's delicious for cooking a steak. I've got butter for the, let me get that going right now. Again, get everything ready before you really get started. Otherwise, you're going to be playing catch up and you're not going to be good at it. So, your gravy recipe is 1 to 1 to 1. 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of flour, and 1 cup of liquid. In this case, our liquid is going to be heavy cream and beef stock, mostly heavy cream. I'm going to add beef stock just a little bit to kind of deglaze the pan, but most of it's going to be cream. The beef flavor is going to come from the steak and all of the beef that's in there, and we shouldn't need much beef stock. So, where do you get tallow? You can buy it at Walmart. You buy it by any of the other cooking oils, buy olive oils and stuff like that. Buy the lard. You can order it online. You can order really good stuff. What's up, Camelot? I see you in the chat, girl. How you doing? But yeah, so get all set. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of flour. I should get the flour going. And then I'm going to do most of this in my cast iron pan. So that's a good place to do it. By most of it, I mean all of it. I'm going to do all of it in the cast iron pan. I know about lard. Yes, I've encountered Sean and Kurt and most of LawTube, actually. Bunch of fat losers. Remember when I said LawTube was like a horrific den of snakes? And that I wanted no part of it? Yeah. Most of those people choked to death on something, so I have no compassion or pity left for any of them. I used to be nice. I'm not anymore. I'm kidding. I'm still nice. Just not to them. Runkle's good people. Jeff is funny. Yeah, there's some individuals who are really great. As a whole, LawTube has always been a really bad idea. First of all, if you ever want to take something decent and ruin it, you just add a bunch of lawyers. So that's one problem you got. The next problem is just the rampant jealousy. Rampant jealousy. There we go. Most of these people just aren't entertaining. They're not charismatic. They're not really that interesting. They have expertise and experience that makes them interesting. But as people, you can try talking to them if you want, or you can read a phone book to yourself in the dark. And probably do better with the second option. So, it's always been a disconnect. I mean, one of the funniest things that happened recently was when Nate went on stream and flat out lied and said that I promised to pay people and didn't pay them. I don't promise to pay any of these people. Are you serious? Why would you? No one does that. No one pays people in this business. They don't do it at all. Doesn't matter who you have on. Doesn't matter where you go. Some shows, like big productions like Timcast or whatever, they'll fly you out. They're not paying you. The Blaze didn't pay me to show up. I mean, maybe they paid somebody, but not in the streaming circles that I've run. No one has ever offered to pay or suggested they should be paid. I mean, some people have tried to entice people like DSP or whatever. But, yeah, I paid Camelot in nudes. That's true. But no one does this. No one pays anybody to show up. It's mutually beneficial. It's good to network with people and to expand your audience and theirs. And also, even if you're networking down, so to speak, like you have a heavily overlapped audience and yours is much larger, it doesn't really matter because that interplay that you have with the other person, even if you're not bringing in new people, it endears you to the existing people. So there's no reason to pay anybody unless you're really trying to land some big interview with someone who has some sort of exclusive. I don't do that because I don't care. Like, I shouldn't say I don't care. I care. I just don't care about those things most of the time. So I don't need to pay anyone for that. I'm not looking for that information. I've got these little portobello mushrooms, baby bellas, or no, these are creminis. Cremini mushrooms. Sorry, not portobello. Little cremini mushrooms. This is like a really hearty dish, and not everybody in my house likes mushrooms, so I'm cutting them into quarters, so they're going to be easy to find and eat around as a dish develops. Oh, I gotta get this. Gotta get this pan torching hot here. All right. So I've got heavily salted water that's boiling. I've got 2 pounds of noodles because we have a bunch of people and extra noodles are always awesome. I'm not going to use 2 pounds of noodles for this dish though. That will be way too much for this dish. Because I'm only going to have 3 cups of sauce. If you wanted you know, 2 pounds of noodles, you'd want to make 5 or 6 cups of sauce for that, probably. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, I'm just... Anyway, oh, back to my story. So it was demonstrated on a live stream where Nate's sitting there talking about this mystery where I'm apparently going to pay people for Rittenhouse, which I did say I would reach out to people and get them sort of thank you gifts or do something nice for them, and I did. And I did. To everybody who deserved it. So, they all got that. And Nate speaks for himself. I don't know what anybody else says about that. I don't know if people remember. I don't know if they know what I, like, exactly what I did for them or whatever, because I didn't make, like, a big production or deal out of it. I don't do that. Other people do. Why? I don't know. But, you know, I just went around and did nice stuff and got people places. I made a bunch of large super chats and made small super chats, you know, for years to people all over the place as a thank you. Oh, and they can also thank me for their 6-figure incomes that they got because they were on with Rittenhouse. Like, there's your thank you. You're welcome. But anyway, the origin of this story, my ADD's kicking in, sorry, was, so Nate mentions this mystery money that no one can identify where I actually ever promised anybody to have it. And Kurt says, well, I didn't see any of that. It's like, well, Kurt, that's because you're as interesting as glass, man. You're dull. You're smart, and I kind of liked you, but... oh my gosh, being his friend is like pulling teeth out of a horse that doesn't like you. And it's like, that was fine, I don't mind. I've had difficult friends. And I really wanted to help Kurt out. I offered to help him in several ways throughout my friendship with him. But for him to sit there and act like I promised him something and he didn't get it. I mean, he didn't get it because he couldn't earn it. And that's not my fault. A bunch of people tried to help him with the streaming stuff, but he's not interesting. He has a lot of knowledge. He could be interesting. He needs some charisma classes or something. I don't know where they give those. I almost feel bad saying it. I would have felt bad, you know, a couple weeks ago or whatever. I don't now. Screw him. I don't have to... I don't hate people, but I don't have to let snakes in the garden. Eric PP, I'm sorry about it too. One thing I want you guys to know is all of my personal issues this year have been my personal issues. And they have had zero impact on any of these losers. None of them, except for they make less money. Somehow, they make less money and it's my fault. I don't know. But, none of this involved any of them. They don't live anywhere near me. And they're also fat. So that's not going to help. But you'd act like I sunk their stupid Titanic. Guys, you were piloting a tugboat the whole time. It's just no one told you. It's really a shame. Because, like, I liked those people. I thought they liked me. Turns out they liked my money. Which wasn't even mine yet. It was y'all's money that people would donate. They liked that a lot. And they pretended to like me, I guess, because they acted like they haven't been saying from the start that, you know, I have these great legal takes or whatever, and super awesome, and they really love me and all this stuff, which they all said it. Every single one of them who says, oh, Nick's always been terrible or whatever. Every single one of them was sucking me off on the daily, man. Like, these are not honest people. And that's fine. I don't need people to do that. I've never asked anybody to do that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the metaphor. I've never asked anybody to do that. I don't care if people, like, treat me like that. I like people. I like talking to people. So I would invite people on my shows to talk to. And I like developing chemistry with people so that we can put on a good show. Apparently, that was not reciprocated when I thought it was. And my feelings are hurt. Legitimately. So I hope all of them have really bad Christmases and get chlamydia. But they won't, because they'll be alone. But I didn't ask any of them for any of this stuff. I didn't. One, Nate's out here. First of all, half these guys are bordering on violating their ethics because these guys had attorney-client communications with me that they have come really close to disclosing the nature of without my consent. And these are guys calling me up, saying, "Oh yeah, don't worry, everything we talk about is confidential. Oh yeah, we just like if I was your lawyer, blah 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 blah." Yeah, that seems to go right out the window. All of a sudden, but that's not how lawyer ethics works. I don't know. Everybody says I didn't do well, and yeah, I did fine in my ethics class and on the test. I passed it the first try. Lawyer ethics are easy. Screw over your client. All right, I got these steaks are cooking up. All right, so I'm almost done cutting up everything. I got a bunch of mushrooms. I got a little over a pound of mushrooms so far. I don't know if I'm going to do any more. I've got a whole medium-sized yellow onion. So there's going to be a bunch of onion there. And I'm going to cheat. I got some pre-minced garlic. I bought a bag, like a huge bag of garlic cloves, but they're all tiny, and so it's really annoying to deal with those. So I'm just going to use my cheater garlic. I hope you guys will forgive me. I'll tilt the camera down in a second so you can see what's going on down here in my cutting board and everything. Probably going to ruin something when I do that. So with the steaks, it's really, I mean, you can cook the steaks in a cast iron pan a couple ways. There's a couple philosophies about it. You can you can flip them once, which is what I normally do, or you can flip them a whole bunch of times. It doesn't matter. Guys, flipping a steak once versus a million times, if you got the right heat on a steak, which is simple. The right heat for a steak is up, more, higher, hot, 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 hot. For a good steak. I mean, if you're cooking like an arm steak or something, first of all, take it back to the government that gave it to you. They don't like you. Second of all, yeah, you're gonna have to cook those slow. But if you're cooking like a decent quality steak, like these are strip steaks, if you're cooking strip steaks or ribeyes, even top sirloin, cook it fast and cook it hot. You don't need to screw around with anything else. You can move it around the pan, you can do whatever you want, that's all fine. Just make sure it gets Crispy and brown all over it. That's what you need. So, oh my goodness, yeah, nice. So once these steaks cook, I'm going to take them out of the pan, and then that's when the ground beef is going in, and that's when we're going to make this sauce, which is going to be really easy for me. It'd be easy for you guys too if you tried. So what have you guys been up to? Hopefully something good. You had steak yesterday? Me too. No, I ate a little bit. Yesterday I hung out at my parents' house. They were in town and we had the family over. My dad watches football. I don't care about football at all. But I like watching football with my dad. And so he was watching some football, so I went over and made these rice bowls for everybody. I just made a bunch of white rice, racist, and then I asked them like what theme they'd want, like Italian or Cajun or Asian or whatever. And then you know, whip together a rice bowl with different vegetables and different seasoning to make the flavor profile what it's supposed to be. And that was really fun. So I had a flat iron steak that about 4 people got some of that. But I took a couple nibbles here and there. All right. We're gonna get the pasta going. This is a 10-minute pasta, so once you get it up to boiling, it's 10 minutes. Which is good to know. But we're going to want some of this pasta water for the gravy. It's not pasta, you putz. You're not pasta, you putz. Yeah, you are. What is my hair doing? Oh, it's all over the place. I need to tame it down. Tomatoes? Why would I put tomatoes in here? This isn't tomatoes. I'm not going to put tomatoes in this. What are you talking about? Maybe a dab of tomato paste, but I haven't decided that yet.
Well, did you put that on the...
That's not hot. No Italian pasta allowed. This isn't Italian. This is like some brand of Germanic peoples. How's the family? They're good. My son's working on an animation project. My other son's working on math. He does his math homework in bed at night while listening to a YouTube channel about higher math. He told me that today. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I do my math, and then I listen to a guy talk about calculus. Well, that's cool, I guess. Do you understand the calculus part? And he's like, yeah, most of it. He's 13. Okay, so these all right. So steak is in, or steak is done resting. Now the beef goes in. Ground beef in the pan. It's hot. It's going to cook really fast, and that's good. Because we just want it to get like a little brown. I break it up into chunks, almost like meatballs. But as you stir, man, it's gonna cook down and break up some more. Don't worry about it. You're gonna have a lot of beef in it. Like, it's gonna be very beefy by the end anyway. But yeah, here, let me I'll show you what we got going on down here. We got steaks, onions, mushrooms, butter for the pan sauce in just a second. In the pan, of course, we've got the ground beef chunks. They're just cooking. We want them to brown up and get all kinds of crunchies on them because that's delicious. Oh, the other thing to keep in mind, I picked this Wagyu because it's 75-25, so it's going to let off a lot of fat. This is going to have a very fatty and rich sauce. It's going to be great. But you want to know what kind of like beef you have, because if you're like 93%, you may want to add more fat. But whatever, I mean, you're going to be fine. But this, as you can see, releases a ton of fatty juice. Fatty juice are the ones who pay the banks the big money. All right. So the beef is browned. You want to brown the beef before you put your onions in, because your onions are going to cool the pan. Once they cool the pan, it might not get hot enough to get the beef like to really sizzle up again. So make sure your browning is done to your satisfaction. Then you start vegetabling. You're judging me for this? This is gonna why? Do you think you have a detractor messing with your internet like the DSP? No, the Locals app is just garbage. Cuts off all the time. My internet isn't messed up. It's just, it's the app. Okay, onions are going in. These onions are basically going to deep fry in beef fat, which is awesome. And then I'm going to wait just a second. I'll throw the mushrooms in. They're going to soak up a lot of this existing fat. It's going to make them super good and beefy flavored. The mushrooms are going to lose their water and replace it with beef juice. Kind of like a big breeding cow. And then the real point of the mushrooms is they're gonna bring out this umami, whatever that. It's a taste of fermenting stuff. The mushrooms are gonna bring out this umami flavor. That's gonna make the sauce really rich and velvety, and delicious, and also taste like dying mycelial creatures. Whoa! I threw onions. Oh, and wait for, I'm putting all these mushrooms in. You don't want your garlic to go in right before you go for making your sauce. Your garlic will scorch, and it won't be any good if you do it too early. Get all these mushrooms in there. This pan is not going to be big enough for this. We're going to make it happen anyway. Oh, when you add mushrooms to anything, if you're cooking them down, salt your mushrooms right after you get them in there. That salt is going to help draw the water out of them. Mushrooms should drop like 3/4 of their size if you're cooking them. So you want that salt in there to pull the water out as fast as possible. That's all going to go into the air. It's going to be great. I think these noodles are right about done. Woo! Chewy. Those noodles have another couple minutes. They're almost there. Ah! Oh, and remember, this is a beef dish. Just dump pepper in. It doesn't matter. It's going to be good. Black pepper goes with beef. However much black pepper you think goes on beef, double it. You are the only one who can help you. That's not true, but... Are you talking to me? You might be talking to someone else. I haven't been paying enough attention. Oh my gosh. So, if you guys are wondering, I've been spending a lot of time on me lately, trying to figure out what life looks like. It's really been kind of a weird year for obvious sort of reasons. But one of the things I've gotten away from was cooking. And so I'm trying to cook again, like every day. It's really easy to like grab stuff when you're driving kids around, man. It's really easy to just grab fast food, Culver's, Subway, Qdoba. Those are the spots that I hit all the time. That's what the kids want to eat most of the time, and so you get sucked into going to these places over and over. But they kill you. They kill your bank account and they kill your body. So I've been trying to get back to cooking. It's really nice. It's fulfilling. It's always been kind of a zen place for me. Alright. So the pasta's done. That's fine. So this next part is where we turn this pan into screw LawTube, just become a cooking YouTuber instead. That would be fun. Their camera setups are really they start off with just some recipes or whatever, but their camera and mic setups are really complex. So how they get a lot of shots that are really good of the food. They get good close-ups, they have macro lenses or whatever. And they have really good mics to get the sizzle, but also to mic the YouTuber. And it's really about kind of capturing that piece, I think, of cooking. Is what makes them really good. There's a couple channels I really like. I like Chef Jean-Pierre. I like Sip and Feast. I like Smoking and Grilling with Abe and B. I like Sam the Cooking Guy. There's another one called This Guy Can Cook, I think. Those are all channels that I watch that I really appreciate what they do. Being a cooking YouTuber would be fun, but you have to have a producer to do it. Okay, so here we go. You guys don't have to we-go anything. Butter's going to go in the pan. Flour's going to go in the pan. That's going to get stirred. That flour's got to start cooking down. And then once you have a nice like roux going, you add the cream and the beef stock. Right now I have 2 cups of cream prepped, giggity, and beef stock ready to go. So you just need this butter to melt down, then the flour's going in, and then it's stir, stir, stir. Get it ready. And then it's going to be just gravy after that. Once you've got the gravy too, you can put the steaks back in there if they're not fully cooked through. One of these steaks is really thick, so it should have cooked through just fine, but I'll cut into it, and if not, I'll just add it and let it basically braise in there with the rest of it until it's done. Ow! The other thing I need to do now is I need to get the noodles out of here. Hey, how's it going? I've got a friendly audience up here. Lady Rekieta is hanging out with me off camera. Everybody thinks you're dead.
Yeah.
They're like, she's not online. It's like, she hasn't been online since 2022. Go away. Anyway, I'm still hoping I can swindle her into a karaoke stream at some point.
Oh, that's terrifying.
What?
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? She said that's terrifying. Yep. Okay, so flour. Got 3 tablespoons of flour. We got 3 tablespoons of butter plus the beef fat. Like I said, it's going to be a high fat sauce, which is going to make it good. But the flour just goes in, and then once it's in there, you just stir and stir until you have a cooked down roux. Or a cooking roux, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. You just need the flour to start cooking, because flour tastes like trash until it's cooked. Then it tastes great. You don't want it to taste like flour. You want it to taste like, mostly like the butter. Flour is just there to make it nice and thick. And also, I don't know about you guys who cook, but for me, I never trust how my roux looks. I'm always like, no, I need more flour or whatever. You don't. Just trust the science. 1, 1, 1. You sit here and start screwing around with the formula, your gravy's going to have like a gross skin on it, or it's going to be way too beefy if you add too much stock, or it's going to be runny like an idiot. Don't do any of that. Trust the numbers. They exist for a reason. Some Frenchman found it out a long time ago and created a school called the Cordon Bleu, entirely based on sauces. So, listen to him. He was smart. I don't even know his name. It was something Ponzi, though. I'm sure. All right. The other thing about this, if you do it this way, it's not going to look like a normal roux because the flour is going to stick to the beef and stick to the mushrooms. And so you're just going to have like little kind of bits of flour. You're not going to see it. It's not going to make a paste like a normal roux when you have just an empty pan. So don't be surprised about that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, the onions and the mushrooms, they basically deglaze. I was saying, your pan at this point should have a pretty, like the bottom of it should be pretty clean when you move the big chunks around. Nothing should be sticking or burning or whatever. You've got enough lubricant in there that everything's staying in place. Speaking of that, I'm adding the cream. Add the cream a little at a time, like 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup at a time. You do not need to add 2 cups of cream to this. Your pan will get too cold. You want everything to stay nice and bubbly. Just add it a little bit at a time and be patient. And then just keep stirring. I can't stress that enough. The more cream you get in there, though, the more the stirring becomes dangerous because it's lava. If you're like me and you're stupid, you're barefoot in your kitchen. I'm not pregnant, but I am barefoot. And if you splash that down on your foot, it's going to really suck. And then as you do this, it's just going to come together super nice. It's going to look good. It's going to taste delicious. It's going to be creamy and dreamy. You too.
Huh. Thanks. Made me blush.
Good. So it's going to be just, like I said, it's going to cook down. It's going to be great. I got to get the noodles into a bowl, and I want to save the pasta water. So I'm going to scoop them out mostly into this strainer. Because I want to keep the water where it is so I can use it. Oh, this is going to take forever. I should get a... That's better. Oh man, I love egg noodles. I don't know about you guys. Woo! Alright, here we go. Okay, so the 2 cups of cream are in this. I'm looking down at it. It's really hot, which is good, and bubbling. I'm going to add some beef stock to it. I'm not going to do a full cup of beef stock, and I'm going to play the rest of it by eye because I'm like that. But I don't want a ton of that, and I know I'm going to probably want to add some pasta water in as well. Some noodle water, if you want to call it that. Noodle water contains starch. Starch is an emulsifier. There's a lot of fat in this sauce. So that starch from the noodle will emulsify into a nice creamy sauce. And, you find a nice creamy sauce, you're going to keep that around, I guess. But, so the emulsification from the noodle water is, valuable. So I'm not going to do all beef stock. I don't need all the beef flavor, so I mostly just need just didn't want to water it down too much. Oh my, this is going to be so good. I turn this down. I always cook on high heat, which is hilarious. Like if you're trying to make something delicate like eggs or a bechamel. But, yeah. So this is, this going heavy. I'm going to get my ladle. You're going to ladle some of this pasta water in. The other thing we're going to do is, we're going to bring the pasta into this pot. Oh, this is going to be so good. We're going to let this guy simmer for a little bit. I'm going to cut these steaks open and see how they cook through and see if they need to finish off in this liquid. Giggity. Oh, I miss hanging out with you guys. You guys spurring about my use of pasta. I'm going to call it pasta twice from now on. The pasta. Oh, boy. Sounds like wet diarrhea? Yeah, kind of. It's gross. Thanks. Thanks for ruining my night. That was fun. That was good of you. I'm just kidding, it wasn't. Oh, man. So I think I've almost eliminated all of the really persistent idiots by blocking them. I how people with no principles demand that you adhere to something that you said. They're like, oh, you have no principles. Like, no, I have them. You just abuse them. So you don't get them anymore. Like, my principle is not to murder someone, but if they try to kill, like, me or a family member, I'm going to kill them. Right? Like, that's... The principle is don't kill someone. But at some point, you have to. And these people, man, they are not innocent bystander observers. They're not. There are people actively trying to interfere in the ongoing criminal case against Aaron Imholt. People who act like innocent observers. But, which is really great. That's cool of them. So, you know, all of that bluster and talk about like accountability or responsibility just seem to go out the window with everybody else on the planet. It only applies to me, which is fine. I don't care that much, but it's interesting to see. I wish this didn't happen to me for various reasons, but one is because it'd be really like this year for me has been wildly instructive in several ways. And I wish I was observing it from afar. Oh yeah, this steak needs to simmer in here. Good old saucy steak. This one, the thick boy did not cook through all the way, which is fine. It's gonna just braise in here on this pan. The sauce basically comes up to the top of it, so it's gonna just raise that temperature and it'll cook down in like 10-15 minutes, something like that. And it'll be ready to go. I'll check the other one. Oh, this one turned out just fine. Hey, I got something for you.
Yes, I'm waiting.
Meat. I cannot say, well, I actually can say it's been boring. In a lot of ways, this year has been very, very boring. There are long periods of time where I've been kind of crippled in my ability to do things. Oh my gosh, that's delicious.
I love it. Pan's made sure it's not boiled, it's braised, you dork. And trust me, it'll be good. Grifty, I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't have anything to apologize to people for because they weren't affected by it other than their entertainment. I apologize to people who are on locals because, you know, you guys were here and I wasn't producing content. You guys were paying for it. And I feel bad about that. That's something that I should apologize for. So I do. But I'm sorry, my legal issues and my personal relationship issues, which were not supposed to be public, they weren't supposed to be anybody's business, don't affect any of you guys. They're really like, other than the streaming. People are like, you gotta apologize to your audience. I'm like, for what? What did I do to them? I didn't do anything. I'm sorry. Like, I'll say I'm sorry. I won't be able to mean it for most of it. Like, there are certain things that I'll apologize for. When it's necessary, I absolutely will. Like I said, I feel really bad about how little locals content I've done, which is why I'm prioritizing it. But other than that, man, it's hard to feel. I'm sorry, but after what I've been through, it's hard to feel bad. And for everybody who wants me, like there's a conflicting set of arguments out there. Some people tell me they want me to take accountability, and they're like, you haven't taken accountability. And I'm like, where is it? I'll grab it. And then other people are like, you need to shut up and don't say a word and actually just die until your case is over. There's wisdom in that, but you can't take accountability while you have an active case. It doesn't work. Because there's a bunch of stuff people will want me to talk about in regards to accountability that I can't talk about. And so taking accountability there doesn't really do anybody any good. You have to wait. Everybody's like, Nick won't take accountability for his actions. I'm like, I'd love to. I'd love to talk about all this. I hate being quiet. I don't see that it does any good. I know it's the effective legal strategy, I guess, even though none of these lawyers actually know what they're talking about. They'll have pulled this. They're like, they're practicing attorneys. Like, yeah, my attorneys are practicing attorneys. Actually, my attorneys are more actively practicing than any of the stupid dummies on LawTube. So where they go with the whole like practicing attorney thing, that assumes that I'm paying an attorney, but I'm doing the casework, which is dumb. I'm not. I wish I was, because I would do it way different. But hey, you hire a professional and you let the professional do the work. That's what I've been doing. And they're all like, Nick's doing this. I'm like, no, I'm not. Why would I pay an attorney to me do the work? That sucks. But, like, I'll listen to practicing attorneys. I'm like, fine. My practicing attorney has done a garbage job. Go listen to him.
Can I have another slice?
Yeah, of course. It is exceptionally good.
It's so good. Thank you.
So if I didn't show it, this is the Wagyu cut from before. The one steak was cooked perfectly through. The other one was just too thick. Pans Mister, yeah, he knows everything all the time. He's also probably a librarian. I'm just glad he never jumped ship from LawTube, because that would have drained the ocean when he crashed. The other dumb thing is all these people were my friends. If they would have talked to me instead of like being rather rude, I would have talked to them about this stuff so they had actually like, could talk about it with real information instead of just speculation. They're speculating. And many of them, none of them are Minnesota attorneys, I should say. None of them are Minnesota attorneys. So like, again, I'm glad that you're a criminal defense attorney and that allows you to talk about some stuff, but some of the stuff Nate and Sean have been saying, like it does not apply. It doesn't apply either in this state or this county, and it's because their practice areas and their practice cities are way different than where I live, and that's fine, but they're not taking that into account. It's been a problem from day one, especially with Nate. Nate calls me and he's like, listen, you got to get this out. You got to get out. You got to plead out. You got to get it done. You got to get it. You got to get it yesterday. You got to get it out yesterday. And I'm like, Nate, I can't plea it out. They don't even have the file written yet. Look, of course. You got to get it done. You got to get it done. You got to get on the phone
with the DA. It's like, Nate, she didn't want to take my call. I'm represented. And they just, they're talking, Nate's talking about this like a New York City criminal defense attorney. Well, let me tell you, what I'm charged with in New York City is not the same as it is here. It's very different environments in major metro areas than out in the sticks. And, I'm sorry, like, if you're not factoring that in, then you're not talking intelligently about the situation. And that happened a lot. All right, here's the last bit, guys. I've got most of it cooked. Last bit that you do when you've got a sauce or gravy that's savory and delicious, add cold butter to your sauce. Just like 2 tablespoons of it right at the end. You will like it. But many of them...
Doesn't that ruin the ratio?
No, the ratio is good. It's cooked in now.
Okay.
Many of these people, like... I don't know. I'm jaded and I hate almost everybody, especially right now. But watching some of them and the lack of ethics that they have... I mean, they wanted to pretend I was their client. Many of them, like, have advised me as if I'm their client, and then they go out and they say publicly negative things about me, or they talk about things that they've talked about me with. That's a violation of your ethical obligations to your client, and I'm your client by your choice and admission. I relied on that confidentiality and on the promise of sound advice when listening to you. And so to have them come out and talk about me in these negative ways, like, all right, that's fine. I'm not going to run around filing ethics reports. That's a bunch of boring nonsense. But still, it's like, goodness gracious. I'm surprised. Like, I shouldn't be surprised anymore. I should remember that everybody on LawTube is a bad lawyer. That's why they're on LawTube. Just like me. Right? Like, there's a reason that they have all this time to stream and that they don't seem to have time to practice law as much as their streaming goes forward. If you're successful at streaming, you transition away from law. If you're really good at law, you wouldn't really start up streaming unless you're doing it in a, well-produced way that's meant to promote your brand. None of these guys are doing that, and they never were. It's not like Bruce Rivers, right? Like, that dork, he's promoting his law firm. What's Kurt doing? Promoting the law firm of Cuck and Wagon? Like, yeah. Anyway. So, this is about done. All I just left is add the noodles. And they just go in, man. And you just have yummy, yummy noodles with this creamy sauce. I'll get them. I'll get some in here. I think I got my noodles a little past al dente. They're close, but if you want them al dente because you want them to finish cooking in the sauce. But by the way, the guy keeps nerding out over whether it's sauce or gravy. It's whatever I say. Take that. Told you it's a non-traditional version of stroganoff anyway because I don't know how to make the real stuff. I just know this is good. Check these steak chunks. One more thing, I just got to there we go.
How was the day?
Oh my. Yeah, this looks terrible. I'll show you guys in a second. We're almost there. I want to sample the sauce here. It's stupid good. Although there is again, more pepper. Always more pepper. You can put other stuff in here, but you really don't need to. Like, you don't need herbs. You don't need other seasoning. If you want to add spicy stuff, you could, I guess. But
Mom wants me. Mom.
what is this?
Mom. Mom.
What?
Can I put this on the couch?
Yeah. There's going for that.
Look at it.
Look at you, you're like a seal.
Yeah. Much easier.
Yes.
Much easier.
Get out of there.
Now, Boulder Bear.
Do you have any boulder berries left?
Yeah.
That's good. That's her new favorite, boulder berry.
Oh, the
Well, I actually have two favorites.
Yes, boulder berry and apple.
of course.
It isn't my new favorite.
Right.
All right. Here, guys, I'll I guess I could just plate one of these up.
Yep.
Seems like someone's waiting for one.
Yep.
All right. So let me plate this up and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Let me get some of these beef slices.
Yeah. For reals.
I wish you guys could hear it. This on the wall. Oh my goodness. Every time like I go to do a stream and it says you must update the app, I'm like, yay, they probably fixed the streaming. Nope. You never do.
Mom, look at me. I'm a helicopter.
Helicopter.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Jane.
Can I ask Alexa how many days until Easter?
Not yet. Daddy's doing this, Jane.
All right. So,
About Wednesday.
here we go. We got a little stupid presentation on this, but I'm leaving you can pour some gravy over the top if you want, but I'm leaving it out because of the crunchiness of the steak. But yeah, so I'll show you what it looks like in the pan too. There you go.
Thank you.
See if I can do this with this will be easier than moving the camera, oddly enough. Too much noodles, not enough sauce. Never true. Noodles are great. More noodles. So anyway, here's a pan of the food. I don't know. How is it?
Delicious.
She said it's pretty good. Again, if I were allowed to, I would use vodka or bourbon to deglaze the pan. I'm going to feed 7 with that one pan. No, I don't have to feed 7 because not all of them will eat this.
Good cartwheels.
Trying.
My youngest in here, she's not going to eat this. Mmm. Mmm.
You're doing good. Good job.
Yeah, I'm just
That is good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So yeah. Ryan says hi.
Hi, Ryan.
Oh, the internet now has heard you speak again. The mystery of your death has been solved.
I've spoken a couple times on this stream.
Yeah, if you were just quiet, I didn't know if people could hear you, but I'm pretty sure they could hear that one.
I don't.
Yeah, the steak that was braising, sorry, shaky. Steak that was braising ended up cooking through just fine. Why am I sideways? Here we go. So anyway, guys, that's that. That's dinner. I guess I'll tell these kids to come eat.
It might be England.
Of course, two of them aren't here right now. They're at dance. So they'll be back very soon, though, and they'll eat then. But yeah. I don't know what else to say. Election stream with Ty tomorrow. I don't know if Ty's gonna join me or not. You sent me a locals tip about meat. Let me see if I can find it. Don't worry about it.
We'll practice in just downstairs where there's more room.
But
You can put the pad up if you want. There's the mat that goes out.
yeah, that was my knife. So don't worry. It wasn't my foot, so I'm fine. Tell locals to stop killing the stream 10 seconds before the end. I'll try. I'll give it an extra 10 seconds too. But yeah, I hope I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out. Sorry, it's hard to cook and read the chat the entire time, so I kind of just narrated through, which I hope is okay. But I figured I'm going to try and incorporate you guys back into my life more, like when I used to have fun on locals. You know, if I'm like watching a sports thing or whatever, maybe I'll jump in the locals chat and we can hang out, or maybe live stream it, like depending on the event and like if anybody's with me and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I like to do that and hang out with you guys again because I don't have any other friends. Crafty says, hey man, glad to see you. We got your back. Keeping you all in my prayers. Thank you. Thank you. Super serious legal commentary only. Yeah, I'm going to do some of that too, but... Oh, here's a tip. Thank you. Want some good meat, Nick? Yes. Sexy. Try this stuff. Anton is a pretty cool dude as well. Use Viva's promo code to save a few bucks. BiltongUSA.com. Okay. I'll check it out. It's nice to be back, Heather. Coof, thank you for thanking me for not killing myself always. I actually thought of you several times. So, keep up the good work. With that, guys, I gotta get going. Gotta get these kids fed. And we'll see what else is going on. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. We've got more to come. Giggity. But I hope you guys enjoy the election tomorrow. If I can, I'll do some coverage of it. If I can't, enjoy it without me. And we'll see you soon.